So 20 years ago, I moved to Atlanta, and I quickly discovered what I bet some of you might be discovering for the first time this week. Atlanta's a big city. Do you know there are some places where we have 16 lanes of traffic? Really, 16. It's also a complicated city, and this fascinating place where history and progress collide almost every single day. And that creates this really incredible mix of people and ideas and energy. It's a place where matters matter. Manners matter, and where civility is expected. It's also the kind of place where a young preacher who had a dream could spark a revolution that changed the world. When I moved here with my family, I didn't know anyone, and this great big city felt hard to navigate and pretty lonely. Looking back, I realized how lucky I was that someone introduced me to volunteering and to Hands On Atlanta. I still remember that invitation. She said, "You should go to Hands On Atlanta. They're always looking for volunteers, and they'll take anybody." Well, it turned out to be true. They really were asking everybody to volunteer, not just people with special skills or a lot of free time or a lot of money. They were making it possible for every single person to volunteer, and for volunteers to do important work in bite-sized pieces at night and on weekends. And because volunteer leaders planned and ran all the projects, it was completely scalable, and the possibilities were endless. And everyone really did have a role to play in building a better Atlanta. It was heady and intriguing, and this amazing young woman who ran the place invited me to come help them change the world. And I was forever changed in the process. So a lot has happened since the last time we were together. And service has certainly been in the news lately. Did you see the Bureau of Labor Statistics report that showed the decrease in the rate of volunteering? It's not every day that volunteering makes the Drudge Report. When I saw that, I thought, that can't be right. I see more volunteers and more impact than ever. So here's some good news. Every day in schools across America, thousands of volunteers are joining programs like City Year, America's Promise, ARP Experience Corps, and they're helping kids succeed. And when disasters strike, armies of volunteers respond, and they stay long after the cameras leave. And volunteer centers like the ones in New York and New Jersey and Tokyo and Manila continue to mobilize thousands of volunteers to do the long-term recovery work of rebuilding homes and lives. And despite the economic downturn, corporate giving is on the rise and is being fueled by a big jump in pro bono service. Many of the companies that are here today are strategically aligning their core business assets, their philanthropy, and their employee volunteerism to accelerate change. And service is spreading across the globe. In fact, we have representatives from 35 different countries here with us today. We've also got some really good news from AmeriCorps. Since its founding in 1994, nearly 1 million Americans have served in AmeriCorps, providing 1 billion hours of service. Happy anniversary, AmeriCorps! So that's a lot of good news. But here's another headline that got some buzz. And again, when I saw that, I thought that can't be right. This is the generation that was brought up on service. Millennials are digital natives who see themselves as global citizens. And they want to use their full range of assets, their time, their talent, their social networks, their purchasing power to accelerate change. And young people are volunteering more hours at an earlier age than ever before. They're making their mark on the world, and service is also helping them to develop critical 21st century skills. So here's one last story that got my attention. There was an op-ed in the New York Times that reported that nearly 1 million people signed up on LinkedIn to help nonprofits on boards. but there were only 1,000 opportunities posted. So their conclusion was that nonprofits just can't take one more volunteer. But I know that can't be right. Sure, managing volunteers well takes time, it's not free, but it seems to me that if 1 million people want to help, that's a problem we can solve. Platforms like LinkedIn and Facebook provide just incredible opportunities for scaling our work and for tapping into a larger and more diverse population than we've ever imagined. I think they allow volunteers to move more seamlessly across organizations and engage and expand their networks and also support multiple causes that they care about. Earlier this year, we launched a new venture called Verified Volunteers. And now dozens of organizations like Meals on Wheels and Special Olympics are working with us to pilot a new volunteer FastPass. It's a background screen that's portable and shareable and that will make it easier and cheaper and safer for people to volunteer with multiple organizations. I think our sector needs more of these kind of tools, tools that are less proprietary, more open, more transparent, and that revolutionize engagement the way Netflix and Hulu have revolutionized television. 20 years ago, we mailed out postcards and we signed up volunteers by phone. But today, online tools make it easy for volunteers to make a difference right in their own neighborhood, but also halfway around the world. We've got more micro-volunteers giving a few minutes wherever they can, and social entrepreneurs are creating tools like Change.org and Indiegogo and Neighborly that allow volunteers to advocate, raise awareness, and even crowdfund for projects that they care about. And they're accelerating change. But all this change can get a little uncomfortable. And I get to hear the debate quite often. Which is better, the new ways or the old ones? Community organizing or online petitions? Tradition or innovation? It's not either or. It's not either the traditional ways of engaging people or the innovative ones. I don't think it's hands and feet or tweets. It's hands and feet and tweets and anything else that works to engage people in solving the tough problems of our time. Here's an example of what I think helps illustrate what's possible. In February, a snowstorm paralyzed our city. It's really amazing what 2 inches of snow can do in Atlanta. It left thousands of people stuck in traffic jams, some of them overnight. Michelle Solicito did what she knows how to do. She created a Facebook page. It was called Snowed Out Atlanta, and it quickly amassed about 50,000 members who helped orchestrate hundreds of rescues. They were able to do what government and disaster response teams couldn't do at that moment. They made sure kids got picked up, the people got blankets, and ultimately that everyone got home safely. So over the next 3 days, I hope we can adopt a little bit of a design lab mentality, that we can share good ideas and models and imagine together how to accelerate change, but also brainstorm about how we can unleash the incredible capacity of people like Michelle Solicito to spark the change that we're all working to create in the world. We want to capture your ideas, so we've created the hashtag NCVSUnleash. So let's start a conversation. Thank you for being here. It's going to be an incredible 3 days because you will make it so. Thank you.